Welcome to A Toast to Truth, where we share our experiences dealing with emotional, mental, and or financial frustrations in business. What was the turning point in your life, particularly your business life? This is Season 2, Episode 3, Your Valleys Make You Valued. Today's special guest co-host is my first international guest, June Marie Smith of Taj Cosmetics. So welcome to the episode. Hey, June, welcome to the episode.
Hello. Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So before I get into, the episode and everything, I always tell people how I met the guest. So June and I were actually in Black Businesswomen Online, the group with people may know her online as Sister Sense,
Yeah.
So
LaShonda Henry.
Yeah, LaShonda Henry. So we met in that group, and I've been a guest on her Blog Talk Radio show a couple of times, and I am still waiting to meet in person. We're going to be in the same city, at the same time one day soon. But, June is one of those people who supported Women Are Game Changers from the beginning. I love her story of how she started her cosmetics company. And I love seeing and hearing about when she grew up in Jamaica and her Jamaican ancestry. She's such a very fun person to get to know. Her stories are hilarious. I wish you guys could have seen her Periscope about that one awards banquet she went to. I was like, that was the funniest thing. So let's get into today's episode, because you know what, that scenario may actually come into today's episode about your valleys make you valued, because that was a very good story, and I don't want to bring it up just yet. But before we get into the topic, what we're going to do is pop some bubbly, where we're both going to kind of just share our win for the week and let you all kind of know what we're celebrating. So I'm going to start. Hold on one second. I am going to start with my win of the week. It's been a really, really interesting, how can I put it, time for me. So, okay, so my popping bubbly moment is I am blessed to see the benefits in my valleys. So Season 1 was full of my valleys that I had to overcome both personally and in business. So I would suggest that you go back for a repeat or a listen if this is your first time listening to the show on my valleys. But for me, I'm celebrating that I see the benefit in all the valleys that I've had to go through over the last several years. But on a brighter note, I know June has a very special celebration that she wants to share with you guys.
Yes. So we have so much going on for Taj now. One of them for this week, we will be at the International Hair and Beauty Trade Show in New Jersey. And we are also working on our first issue of our Taj Beauty magazine, which will be launched in July. So I'm excited about all those things. And I love this thing about the Valley, because your Valley really does value you when you recognize it, though.
And for people who are like, June is just going to New Jersey, she lives in Canada. So when I said she's, my first international guest, she really does live outside of the United States. So it wasn't that she was just born somewhere else. Okay, so the valleys. A lot of people look at their valleys as, that's something that built my resilience, that built my strength. But here's, a quick example of how I use my valley as something that I see makes me a valuable person. I grew up a very, very angry child. Now, if you listen to Season 1, Episode 6, where we talked about depression, I explained why I was always so angry. And as time grew on, I started getting it back. What you put out, you get back. You have to understand that. And I started getting it back, and I kept wanting to know, why is everybody coming after me? What did I do to them? All these things. But what made me realize that I was putting out negative energy, that's when I began to do the work on myself to be the best person I can be, and so if that meant I had to lose people along the way because of how my energy came off to them in the past, then I would have to lose them, and I would have to, be okay with them not being in my life anymore, as well as, accept the consequence of losing someone that I may have pushed away based on my attitude. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because if you're in business, and even though you may think that you're hiding whatever pain or whatever thing you're going through personally, it still projects itself out to your audience. It still projects itself out through anything you put out with your business. And so I'm sharing this experience because I had to check myself. I had to work on myself so that the energy I wanted to really put out, I am actually putting out so that I can receive that in return. Now, what happened when I put out negative energy? Sometimes things didn't happen the way I wanted them in business, and then it would just cause a whole chain reaction of frustrations and getting upset and getting emotional. And exactly what we talk about on this podcast, how do you deal with the mental, emotional, and financial frustrations of business? I didn't always do too well when I when I got upset. What I want you guys to understand is June and I are going to talk about why your valleys should be something you really look at, something you analyze, something you really dive deep into, because that valley could very well be the thing that sets your business up to be extremely valuable in the sight of your potential customers or your potential clients. Do you agree with that statement, June?
100%. 100%. You have, and you're going to have, if you think you're going to be in business and not have trials and not have people that you lose, because when you start to recognize your value and you realize, you will see the people that it's truly not a part of your walk, and you'll find you'll drop some people and you drop 2, you gain 10. So there's a whole lot of truth in what you just said.
Yeah, because I wrote a blog post, and it's going to be on my blog for May 2016 for those who are listening in 2017 or whatever. Go back to May 2016, and I talk about what happens when I've lost people. But the thing is, I wasn't upset and I wasn't projecting negativity. It was their season to leave. And I had to deal with that. We didn't have any type of disagreement. There was no falling off. It was just their time to leave. And it was very hard. It's very hard for me to accept that, because I consider them really good friends. And I just had to realize it was their season to go their way, and it's my season to go my way. And, we may rejoin again, because I have a friend from college. We didn't talk for a few years, and it wasn't that we were mad. We just went into opposite directions. She's now married with a kid, and her husband has some work where he sometimes comes to Houston. She came with him one time and called me and was like, hey, I'll be in Houston, let's hang out. And we picked up as if we hadn't talked in 5 years. And we literally had not talked in 5 years, but we picked right back up where we left off. So, It was that season of she had moved into marriage and motherhood, and I was moving into leaving teaching and starting the blog and starting the tour and doing all this other stuff. So we're going in different directions. So people have to understand that sometimes people don't drop off because they're mad or you're mad at them. Sometimes life just takes you in different directions, and you have to be okay with letting them, go in their direction.
Exactly. And I think most times too in business is that we really started out with our family and our friends as our support system. And, we have to really stop blaming our family and our friends about, not being there and about, dropping them. And, some people, yes, they really can't grow with you because, it's some people want to keep you in the same spot. The conversation remained the same. Everything remained the same. And so you really, growth, you're growing, it's growth. So if you have those people that are going to be stuck in certain situation and expect you to be in that situation with them, then, yeah, those are the people that needs to go. But, growth, you have to grow. And that's what all of the whole thing in business and in life is, that you have to, learn to recognize when it's time to just, proceed. And if those people are really valuable to you or they see you as valuable to them, then they'll come back. It will take some time, and then they'll see it. They'll see what you're doing. They'll see who you are. They'll see your growth, and they're going to want to be a part of who you are because they'll look within themselves and, question themselves and say, what, I'm capable of doing that too. Let me join back with Vernita and see, how she did it. So sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes.
And sometimes, what I was going to say is sometimes when they leave, they may not understand. And so because it's hard for them to comprehend what's going on in your life, it's easier for them to walk away. I've had people who are like, I can't deal. And I'm thinking, deal with what? I have a whole bunch going on. I don't see anything, wrong with it. But for them, it's overwhelming because it's new. A lot of people are used to a 9-to-5. And so when you branch out on your own and they see, they're like, you're making money, but you're doing this and you're doing that. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I do to make money. I'm not sitting in an office, for 9 hours a day making money. I do different things. I may do a strategy session with someone, or I may be hosting an event, or, I may be doing a blog campaign, or teaching a class. All of those are different ways that I make money. But it has been overwhelming to people I know because they just don't understand, because it's not a steady every other week paycheck type of job, gig to them. So they're like, I need space. Okay, fine. You go move and do whatever you want to, because what I just said kind of segues into us as entrepreneurs. What happens when we're out of the startup phase? I know a lot of people who stay in the startup phase way longer than they should because they're afraid to move to the next level or the next stage because, it's something new. And what happens if they fall? What happens if they fail? What happens if they lose money? Guess what? All that stuff's going to happen no matter what.
Exactly.
I mean, Bill Gates and what's the other one? Lives in Omaha. I can't think of his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Warren. They lose money, and they fight for 1 and 2, along with, what's his name, Carlos Slim from Mexico as the top 3 richest men in the world or whatever. It happens to the richest people in the world. You're going to lose money, so there's no reason to be afraid to leave the startup stage to actually move to a progressive stage in your business. And I noticed I was getting frustrated, June, with a lot of the women in the Women Are Game Changers circle because they did not want to leave the startup stage, and I was moving on to the next stage. But they kept wanting me to do fusion, and they kept wanting me to do different things that were still in the startup stage. And I'm like, it would be different if I was doing this for a new group of people. But you're the same ones, Like, I need you to move as well. If I'm moving, you should be moving. And so since they weren't moving and I had to move, and that's why I had to step away from Women Are Game Changers. You know, I can't be your rah-rah cheerleader girl because you're afraid to move to the next stage.
Mm-hmm.
So now my mom owns that company. She's an encouraging type of person, you know, but she has other stuff outside of Women Are Game Changers she's doing. So she can't focus strictly on giving encouragement because that, you know, she has other things she has going on. So Women Are Game Changers is not like her only audience that she's catering to.
And you can't be satisfied with your success. You can't be just satisfied with where you are and what you have achieved. Because I think as an entrepreneur, we're always thinking of the next phase. And if you're not thinking of the next phase, then you're not progressing. You do something and you're successful at it. You know what? Bust the bubble, the champagne bubble, but you got to move on. You know, it's the same as me in the cosmetic industry. I love my cosmetic. I love, you know, sharing beauty tips and providing the products and, you know, speaking with makeup artists and all of that. But at the same time, there were other questions coming, like, you know, questions about skincare, questions about makeup. How do I do this? How do I do that? And so, you know, I move now. Makeup is always going to be a part of me because I'm always going to produce product. But I find, you know what, let me do the magazine so that all these questions can be answered in a magazine.
I didn't even think of it that way, that you were using that as a way to answer the questions that you.
Yes.
I know you put some scopes on it and stuff like that, but that is a really good move. So you can answer the questions. Yeah,
well, so we give beauty tips. You know, a lot of people ask me, "Oh, you don't look 50, and how's your skin looking like that?" You know, and I'm not I'll say it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, keep doing Periscope and, you know, do YouTubes and all of that." I much rather get my models to do that. I can't be doing the video. I know doing the Periscope, I would love to sometimes sit down, but every single time, because I'm home, you know, you just have to get up and put that makeup on because you're your brand, you know, so you have to get up and put that makeup on and, you know, do your Periscope and then you get off and I just can't be bothered with it.
It's a lot of work to do with soap.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Like,
no, they don't get it.
I have to get up and I wash my hair before every scope. And I'm not a makeup person, but I put on lipstick. Like, you know, you can't just be sitting in your pajamas on scope. Like, it's a video. Now, audio,
and I know
nobody knows how I'm dressed right now. But on video, I have to put on a dress. Like, there's work.
People are looking at you. People are looking at you because I see people do Periscope and they're like, okay, beauty this and beauty that. And I get at it and I'm like, what are you doing? You can't be saying you're doing a beauty scope and you're not reflecting who you are and what you're saying. So, you know, and it's not fair. It's not fair for me to say it, but I know people do it. And I know that if I get up and I get on there as a cosmetic person and I get on there, people are going to be looking for me to be popping the lipstick. My mascara must be popping. Eyeshadow must be popping. Everything must be on fleek, you know, but so that's exactly that's a lot of work. So I'm saying, you know what? Okay, let me put a magazine together where we'll answer the beauty tips, but we'll also give people an opportunity to talk about, you know, fashion. And Jackie's amazing. You know, she does a lot of health and you know, talk about mental health. I just admire her so much, and she gave a lot of information about that. So I'm like, you know what? I need her to be a contributor to a magazine because beauty is not just about the makeup and the cosmetic that you put on. The beauty is what we need from inside out, right? So we need to talk about taking care of the body. We need to talk about drinking your water. We need to talk about eating the proper food. And so all of those things, once you start feeling good, you start looking good. You know, a lot of people look good but don't feel good.
Point about the water. Like, I really did not believe how true that was. And this year I have drunk more water than juice. I like juice. I'm not a big soda fan, you know, and I don't drink alcohol, but I've really been trying to force myself to drink more water because I've always had acne. And it didn't matter what products I used or anything. It just would not go away. I started drinking more water, and I noticed maybe a week or two ago, I'm like, my skin is like, you know, the spots are almost gone.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in the right lighting, I won't need makeup.
It's amazing what water does. People don't understand. People don't understand. It makes you glow. It makes your skin glow. It's beautiful to drink your water. And I mean, I used to be the same too. I mean, not liking my water. I like to put a little, from Jamaica, put a little bit of Kool-Aid in it and a little bit of sugar and, drink it. Never liked the water. But I realized how beneficial, water is. It's very, very important. So, you want to stress that out to let people know, to take care of your body.
It really does, because I was even in one of those, those trials where companies are testing new products or whatever. I was in one of those for a skincare line. And, it was like a 4-month trial or whatever, and every month we had to go in and they take pictures, and they kept saying, oh, your face is getting better. And I would just look at them like, for real? It's not. Right. I'm looking at my face every day. Like, this stuff is not working. But then again, it was working for all of the other people, but they were Caucasian, and I was the only black person in my group. And so I'm like, it's working for them, but it's not working for me. So this may not be a product that may work for a lot of minorities. I don't know how big your minority pool is, but the one I'm looking at,
it wasn't working.
It wasn't working, and they just kept trying to beef it up, and I'm just like, no, at least I got 4 months of free products, So when I started doing more water this year, it was shocking, about, like I said, a week or two ago, I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, wow, my face is really
keep drinking it. Keep drinking it.
So
don't stop. Just keep drinking it.
I get the bottled water, so I always try to get the 32-pack, and I try to drink that, in a month, because I'm like, I know I'm not going to drink a lot of water, but if I'm seeing it every day, because I keep it in my room, if I see it every day, I'm like, I got to get rid of this pack. It's a mind thing.
Yeah, but you have to approach it in a different way and understand the importance of it. And I find, even with us on the magazine, I find when I talk to black women, or we're doing some makeup, session or something, I can tell you that 80% of black women don't know how to take care of their skin. 80% of them, they don't know how to take care of their skin.
It's not given the knowledge is not given to us. Like, the only thing that I remember is if you wear makeup, you take it off before you go to sleep. But, they don't talk about the certain makeup removers, or that you have to, exfoliate your skin more regularly if you wear makeup more and stuff. But I don't wear makeup a lot, so I don't really have that problem. However, I've seen a lot of people who wear makeup, and it's like take it on top of their acne, and it just looks really bad.
But it's not just the makeup, though. It's not just whether or not you wear makeup. It's a lot more into taking care of your skin. It's a lot more, even us in North America. I find, even with me living here, my skin gets so dry,
Oh,
and
yeah.
So a lot of exactly. And so a lot of people don't understand. Get a little thing of water. Put a cup of water. Get a little tub. Get something and put that in your room, because that moisture that is coming out of your skin, the heat is taking it out when it's on. So even when you're sleeping, that heat is taking out all the moisture out of you. And so if you just try it for a week, just put some water in a bowl in your room and look how quickly it evaporates. It's gone. And that's what's taken out of your skin. So there's a lot of things to helping us with taking care of our body, taking care of our, what we put in, just everything. So that's one of the reasons why we jump over and say we're going to be doing, put it in the magazine. And then in next year, April 2017, we're going to be having our Beauty Expo, because we don't have a lot of Beauty Expo in Canada. I attended one of the largest.
So all you beauty people, I'm going to have TajCosmetics.com on my site for this podcast, so you guys can get on the mailing list, so you know exactly when you need to head up to Canada, so you can take part, go have fun, and see some different cosmetics companies. The reason I like Taj Cosmetics, because I do have the lipstick, and it's purple, and it's really cute on me. It's not too overpowering. It doesn't make my lips look dusty. It glides on smooth. but you know, we should support cosmetic companies that are actually made for us. You know, that are made for our shade, and that how you started it was actually a valley, June, that a lot of people don't know. You know, you had a personal thing that you were dealing with, and so in order to solve it, your company kind of sprung up, you know, out of it indirectly. You know, it wasn't like she was planning to start this. She had a personal, you know,
personal problem.
that she was trying to solve, and then before she knew it, she had this company. It started with one product, and then another product came on. So she used her valley moment to create a very valuable company. Because, you know, women like colors. When I do wear makeup, I like colors. I don't want it to be, you know, like just
natural
nude face. You know, I like bright colors on my eyes. I like lips that pop.
I love that.
I love my big lips, so I like lipstick that's going to make my big lips pop, okay? You know, some people may not like their big lips. I do, and I love wearing, you know, bright red. And
You don't know You don't know how happy I am hearing you saying that, because I've been saying that all week. I said, we need, Black people, Black women, we have the melanin that we have, people are craving for it. And we can blow those colors. And I love what you're saying. We don't have to stay in that neutral colors. We don't have to stay in the brown and the black and the beige you know what it is? It's plain soft. We're just plain, we're hiding. So we're playing on the soft side so that we don't show up. You know, and so we need to stop playing on the soft side.
That's so sad. I mean, it's sad because not only are you playing soft with your colors on your face, but think about it. If you can't wear a bright red lip, because someone asked me, she was like, oh, I can never do that. And I'm like, why not? I'm like, maybe not my shade of red, but why can't you wear a red lip? You know, red goes with any skin tone. You just have to find your right shade.
It's a different shade of red. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see why you couldn't. And so it made me think, you know, if you're playing scared on makeup, are you playing scared in your business as well? Because like I don't know if the listeners know Allison Bird. You know, she's based in San Antonio, Texas. She's a coach. She's worked with Lisa Nichols. Like, the girl has it going on, and her story is amazing. Like, you really should look up Allison Bird. The thing is, I love her because she has different colors in her hair. She wears glasses like I do, and you know, I like to make sure my frames look very cool and unique. She wears cool and unique frames. She wears long nails, colors, you know, and she's like, when she was in corporate America, she couldn't express herself. And now that she, you know, runs her own company, she's like, I am my brand, and this is what I like, and I like to look like this. It doesn't make her less valued as a coach or, you know, someone presenting information. She still does the job, but it's still a way for her to express herself. So when people think of it that way, if you're playing afraid with your makeup colors, are you playing afraid in your business as well? You know, you have to think of it that way.
Yeah. I went and get for my when I needed glasses 2 months ago, and I went into Akeem and I said, I want bright colors, and I have red frames. Like, you know, I don't want no more black.
When I was in third grade,
I don't want no red. I don't want no black or no brown, dark brown. No, I want red. And then I have to get a second pair, and I'm going to go for yellow or green because it's so, I'm telling you, when I see makeup now, I love seeing you in your bright colors. Amazing. And no, you don't have big lips. I remember when I came to Canada and the first job that I got, I remember in the office, these girls were talking about things that they didn't like. I was the only black girl in the office, and they were talking about things that they would change about themselves. And there was this young man that was standing up. The coffee machine was right there in front of us. It wasn't a kitchen. It was just one of those little kitchenette thing at the side. And they were talking about that. I was scared because I'm like, oh, my God. You know, I've never seen all these white people, you know, in one place. And Yeah, it was very funny. You know, when I came here, you get on the train, it was all white people. Get on the bus, it was all white people. I'm like, oh my God, I see white people in Jamaica, but they're scattered. You know, go to school with them, and you know, but not just everybody that you see the whole bus. And so, you know, they were talking about what they would change about themselves, and I wasn't a part of the conversation because I'm like, I'm not talking to these people, you know. And one of them, Diane was her name, she turned and she says to me, June, you know, what would you change about yourself if you had to change it? And I said, my lips. And I just heard this guy turn around and he go, what? Did I just hear that? And I'm like, oh, my God, you know, we're talking about changing and maybe I'm in trouble or something. And he came up and he go, no, 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 no. He go, did you know when you get in the office, all the guys at the front was talking about your lips? And I'm like, oh, my God. Well, I'm telling you, ever since he told me, the girls were like shocked. They're like, oh, my God, you have what we're paying for. And I'm like, what are they talking about? Because this is all new to me. I didn't know people were taking injection to get their lips look perky. And
yeah.
So I didn't know all those things. And so when I was shocked. And so when he said that, oh my God, I started poking out my lips. I started making them look. Well, I was walking
excited.
That's why
I love mine. I love mine. I would not change. And it's funny that you said that because, you know, I've been asked that question and I'm like, I wouldn't change anything about myself. I like my white nose. I like my big lips. But we grew up in a place where my mom celebrated our features, where family celebrated our features. So I think I was maybe in high school when I started hearing that people were getting cosmetic surgery in high school. And I'm from a small East Texas town, so we had no, you know, it wasn't the internet was big back then in late 90s, early 2000s. It wasn't like we had any attachment to Hollywood, yet we were still hearing that people were doing this stuff. And I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, I wouldn't change anything about me. But then I realized, like you said, they're trying to get my features. So, but I've never been one to want to have the long, flowy hair. Because I'm like, have y'all seen their hair get tangled? You know, to me, I like my natural hair. I like how I look. And that is what I try to bring in my business. Like, when you work with me, you're getting me as well. You're getting not only my knowledge, my experience, but you're getting me. I'm not going to put up some facade and act one way while I'm working with you and then another way online and then another way if you see me walking the streets of Houston. You know, I'm like, Vernetta is the same no matter what.
Yep.
And I got that. You. Yeah, and I started valuing myself because I was in a valley. You know, when you grow up in a community where you are not only a minority, but the minority is so small that everything you do is scrutinized, that you're like, but why am I not as good as you are? Why are you saying I'm not as good as you are? So then you start having that inner conflict going on. And I'm not going to lie, when I left East Texas, I was like, I am never going back. I'm going to prove to these people that I am just, you know, as smart as them and can do all this stuff. Like, I have 3 degrees, okay? And I tried to do all this stuff to prove that I wasn't just some lazy person, you know. I didn't want to fit into some type of perception that they had, and I had to learn. I had to get out of that valley. I couldn't stay in the valley of meeting other people's expectations of how I needed to live my life.
Right. You can't live for other people.
Right. And so once I got out of that valley and valued myself, I'm able to now bring things to the table. Like over the last probably 18 months, I left a teaching position at a college, and I left a contract position with this big global company that they and both times when I left, they said the same thing. You're one of our most valuable assets. We can't lose you. And I said to both of them, then you should pay me right. I left for the sheer fact that they weren't paying me what I knew I should have been getting paid, because I knew the value I was bringing to their company, helping them make money, but I wasn't getting as much as I should have. Now with the college, you know, you can't go in there and negotiate like, oh, I want to make X amount of dollars. But I did go in there and ask for a raise. They gave me 40 cents, and I said, this is a slap in my face.
Wow.
You know, but with the global company, I did negotiate, and I did get more in my contracts. The problem was I didn't like the way that they were doing things. So when I left and they were calling and emailing and saying, you're our best Houston consultant, we can't lose you, then you should have valued me more. Right. So I want people to understand once you know your value, you're not going to be in those valleys very long because you're like, why am I here? Like, why do I have to put up with this?
It's key. It's key to know your value.
So we're going to stop for a quick break. We're going to take a sip, and then we are going to be right back where we're going to continue our conversation about being in the valley. Ready to face the truth in your business? Schedule a Truth Power session. I act as your sounding board, giving you feedback, critiques, suggestions, while teaching you how to mentally detox using journaling. Go to VernettaRFinney.com/Truth Confidant. And don't forget to pre-order your The Truth Confidant Journal. Okay, so we're back, and we are going to share more about our valleys. But I do want June to share this one story from that Periscope. I'm sorry, I can't let it go. You don't have to tell the whole story. But it's a great example of what happens when you're in a valley and you don't know you're in a valley, you know. And then and it's also the opposite. Being in the valley with that story she's about to tell you is going to make people not value your business. Okay, so we want to also talk about when you're in the valley, how it can also harm the value of your business. But yeah, so I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to let June share this story of this award show awards banquet she went to.
Oh my God, you had to go there. You had to go there. I keep getting that over and over, but yeah, I had to share it, and I had to do it because, you know, sometimes you think that your big event, you know, I think I did. I believe I said your big event might not be so big, and you know, it was just one of my girlfriend that was you know, receiving this award, and she's a very dear friend to me, so I decided I was going to go, and you know, the tickets were $150. So of course,
yeah, that's not a cheap ticket, you know.
That's not a cheap ticket, and honestly, I won't name the award, but it was a big award. I mean, you have all the dignitaries there. You had one of the hosts that was co-hosting. She's from Young and the Restless. You had a woman that you know she has her own television show. So it wasn't a little simple award. Like I said, $150 to go. And it was my friend, so I decided, you know what, even if it was $500, I was going to go and support her. But it was just one of those events that I've never seen before. I've never seen it, and I would never go back to that event, no matter who is, you know, no matter who is getting that award. Even if it's my mother, I'm not going back. I'm not spending $150. If it's free, I'll go. But it was just unbelievable. First, they were supposed to start at 6 o'clock. No, at 6 o'clock? No, 6 o'clock. Yeah. So, I mean, I lived about, it took me about an hour and about 10 minutes to get there. And I got there about 5:30 because I'm like, 6 o'clock, I'm going to get there, get my seat and everything. And I got there and, you know, first I was told, you know, just sit anywhere. You know, I went and I sat down and sat at my table, you know, and it's so much to it. But I sat there and I saw these two people, these two ladies came in, and they were looking around like, you know, where do I sit? They came and I said to them they could sit at my table. And come to find out, one of them was the recipient of an award. This girl is doing amazing. She's an author. She's advocating for mental health. She's all over. She's on television here, CBC, doing all of those interviews. So it was not a simple award. So I said to her, I think that you should go back because, normally when you're at an award show like this and you're the recipient, you're normally seated at a special seating with your family and all of that. And she's like, yeah, that's what I thought, but they told me to just sit anywhere. And it was just one big thing. She got up, she went, she asked, and then they came and they moved them to this other table. And then I saw them coming back because they went there and one girl said, oh, you took my seat, you can't come back. So the mother decided she's not going to move from my table. And this was about maybe after 6, then it went on to 7, then it went on to 8 o'clock. And I'm like, when are they going to start this thing? When is this going to start? And I'm sitting there. They came up to me. I saw this one lady came to my table and asked me if I could pray. Honestly, I mean, yes, Jesus, I can pray, but I was shocked.
They didn't have anyone to open the ceremony and prayer. They just pulled June out the audience.
And I said, but I was kind of sorry. I said no because I was shocked. I mean, meanwhile I was hungry because I paid $150. I was hungry, and then I saw all these little kids, and I saw them start going around. All these little kids start serving one plate. Little kids like 5-6-year-old start, selling, dropping the plate. Mom, which table? And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And these kids were serving one plate, and I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And then they start giving out the salad, and my table at the time didn't get any, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? I didn't say the salad come my way. And then I saw this lady come out with a little plate with some little things on it, and it was just a little container. And this was like an hour later, and that was for the salad dressing. Some people's plate were empty. And I got up and I went to the lady and I said to her, my table didn't get any salad. She says, oh, we're not serving the salad by itself anymore. It's coming with the food. And it was just unbelievable. It was late. It was awful. I mean, they should have, for an event like this, of that the standard that I was looking for this event, it did not. It was just unbelievable. The lady that was supposed to be receiving the awards that I went to, she's in media, and up at 11:30, she still didn't go up yet. She still didn't get her acknowledgement yet. But one of the things that was so fascinating about this event, one of the young lady, she came in with her boyfriend. She works at one of the television stations here, and she came in with her boyfriend, nicely dressed, sat at the table beside me, and we were there and we were rolling our eyes on each other like, what's going on? There's no food coming, no drink coming, nobody making any announcement. The kids were running around, the loud talking. You have like police officers there, you have the mayor there. They were, and it wasn't just black people. There were white people there too, so it was just unbelievable. And so I went in the washroom just to, push up my makeup a little bit, and I came out and I saw the young lady sitting by herself. And I said to her, what's going on? So she says, I'm going to come over to your table. And this was something to 11, right? Remember, we got there from 5:30.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend had to leave because he had to get to work for 9 o'clock. And he had to leave the event, didn't even see her receiving her awards, And so she sat there and she says to me, I'm hungry. And I go, what do you mean? She said, I didn't even get anything to eat. She said, I've been asking them and this is a recipient, so that was my whole thing. When I say your big event might not be so big, you have to be careful. When you're planning these events, when you're charging people $150 and all those kind of money for an event, you have to be careful. You have in those events, it starts at 6 o'clock. The latest you should be going at it, it's no later than 10 minutes later than that. You want someone to pray, say Our Father prayer. You don't go to someone in the crowd and ask them to say the prayer. I mean, yes, we could be called upon or whatever, or if I was your friend, and, I know what's happening, and you come and say, June, okay, can you, shadow us a little bit and go say the prayer? But, these are the things. But there was the whole thing to that night.
What I want people to get from that story, because she couldn't go into detail because we just don't have the time, because I think your scope was like 45 minutes or whatever. It was so funny, the details. I mean, like one kid breathed on the food and, just all these things, and the chicken and the rolls, all this stuff.
Oh, my God, I have to tell them about the chicken. I got to tell them. So we're sitting there, and they brought my food to me, and it was supposed to be jerk chicken with rice and salad. She told me I wasn't getting the plate of salad anymore.
Salad. Yeah.
But the rice was like when the rice, I don't know if you ever see spoiled rice. I mean, I've never spoiled rice. I can't remember a time in my life cooking rice and it's spoiled. It was sippy, looking like I don't know. It's not
like porridge.
I don't know what it was.
Oatmeal?
It was like porridge. It was like oatmeal. Yeah, it was like oatmeal. The thing was just not good. And I remember this guy sitting beside me, and he's a white guy, and he'd go, "Oh my God, this is the worst jerk chicken I've ever had." He was disappointed, and I guess he came for just the food. But the whole overall thing, it was just disappointed. But again, it was so much to this thing. I mean, we laugh about it all the time, but there was just so much to this event that, for me, I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back to that event.
And so, and that's a thing I want people to understand, because we've all had little flubs in our business. Okay, I've never had anything that big. I've never had an event where I served food that needed to go into the trash can immediately after coming off the oven, out of the oven. But we've all had flubs, and the sheer fact that these people never apologized to their guests, they never tried to compensate, they never tried to make the guests feel as if, we understand we're going through some problems and we're trying to acknowledge them, here's something to do in the meantime. These people were getting awards. They had invited their friends and family. People were going without eating. I mean, if you're there at 5:30 and it's like 10, 11 o'clock and you're just now getting food, that's a really long time to be sitting somewhere and not having food. So this goes back to, like our businesses. Think of the times where you flubbed in your business. How did you try to fix it? How did you react to it? Did you acknowledge, or did you think no one would pay attention? Because I'm pretty sure they thought no one was paying attention to what was going on. I'm sorry, if I see children walking around serving food, for dinner, I'm going to say, is this legal? Or,
Exactly. And talking to the food
legally, too. Yeah, can these children legally be serving me food? It would be one thing if it's at someone's personal property. But this was not at a personal property. This was, like at was it a hotel or something like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like it should be allowed for kids to be serving you food. I'm trying to think of I can think of where I had a flub recently. I was doing an online virtual training for my training on, how to work without a to-do list. When I say it was technical problem after technical problem, everyone knows Houston was going through really bad weather in April of 2016 this year. And, the internet was coming in and out. It was storming. I'm sitting there trying to have this virtual training. It goes in and out, and I'm getting messages from attendees. I can't see anything. I can't hear anything. I'm just going to wait for the replay. It was horrible. And then I tried to watch it. It was so bad, I redid the entire training by myself without them, and then I offered them personal, like one-on-one after they finished the training to compensate for them not being able to watch it live. So I've had my own flub, but I immediately that day said, here's what I'm going to do in return for you not getting what you paid for,
But that was something that you had no control over either. I mean, you had no control over, what the service is going to be like in terms of this internet service with the rain and the different weather. But you acknowledge it.
But I acknowledged it. I didn't want them to feel like, oh, well, because people could think that, oh, she just used that as an excuse. and she just took my money. No, I really did want to offer you this training. I really did want to answer your questions live, but I couldn't control all the chaos that was happening with the weather, our floods here and all this stuff. However, I am going to make it up to you, and here's how I'm going to make it up to you. So that's another thing I want you guys to understand. If you have a flub, try to think on your feet quick. What can I do to, kind of make the situation a little better? Customer service. What is your customer service like in that sense? Well, we are going to give our final toast, and, we're going to share, what we took away from this episode. So here is my final toast. So my final toast is to not be like what June had to experience. Have a contingency plan, because if I'm in a valley in my business, if I make a mistake and it's noticeable, I want to make sure that I have a way to make it up to whomever I'm serving at that time and let them know at least within 24 hours. If I can't let them know right then and there, here's how I'm going to make up for what you went through according to, dealing with me in business. Because I want them to have a good impression of me. I want them to have a good experience with me, because I want them to come back and work with me, and I want them to invite others. And so I'm going to make sure that my customer service is top notch. So I'm going to not be like the story that was shared in today's episode. I'm going to make sure that I strive for top-notch customer service. What about you, June? What is your final takeaway?
My takeaway has always been customer service. It's the key to your business, and I have an online business right now, and so that has to be my key. I have to, know that I communicate with my customers when they're shipping it, when their item is going to be shipped. So customer service, and to be mindful. My thing about business on a whole is you treat your customers the way you would like to be treated, because you too, you're a customer to somebody else. Just by walking to the corner store, you're a customer. Walking into Walmart, you're a customer. You want to be treated with respect, and you want to give the same, when people come to you, because your feeling, the way how you feel is exactly how your customers feel when you don't deliver a service, or you don't, accept responsibility for the things that that you messed up on. I can give an idea for one of my products. We're in the process now of producing new products. And one of my foundation is out of stock. I forgot to go onto my website and to update the website about that. Well, by the time I recognized it, I had somebody went in and placed their order. And I immediately, went in, updated my website, and I sent an email to my customer. I refunded her money, but I went a step further. I said to her, as soon as our product is ready, then I will be sending her that foundation for free, And immediately she responded. She was so excited. She was happy. She was satisfied that, I communicated with her. So customer service is key. And that's one of the things that I learned along the way from my big awards that I went to and lost my $150. I could have stopped at a West Indian store and buy the whole store for that, and came up with some good jerk chicken and curry goat. But it's a learn. I learned from it.
So for people, if you're in a valley, it can go two ways. You can use that opportunity to bring more value to yourself and your business, or you can use that opportunity and lose value for yourself and your business. So how you get out of that valley is really going to determine the trajectory of your business. Is it going to shoot up, or is it going to shoot lower than where you were at that moment? So this has been a Toast to Truth with Vernetta Arfreni. That's me chatting it out with my friend June Marie about your valleys make you valued. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.